everyone. We are live. This is Mompreneurs to Millionaires. So glad you are here. Today we are talking about money blocks. Oh my gosh, this is such a huge topic, right? I feel like I am ready for a financial revolution for women, right? Tell me if you are ready for a financial revolution. I think we need to talk more about money, and I think all of us have money blocks, right? And I think it is so easy to let them rule our world, right? And I think it is time to unblock those money blocks. So definitely stick around. Today we're going to talk about what I think are the 3 main money blocks that hold all of us back, and 4 kind of strategies that I use and I use with my clients to unblock your money blocks. I really think these are the 4 strategies to start with. So definitely stick around. If you feel like money blocks is a hard thing for you, right? I always like to give a quick little disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, right? If you need actual, real money moves, definitely speak with a professional. This is meant to be educational and to give you a new perspective, because we are talking about women using money and being okay talking about money. What I think is so important is that our money blocks and our money mindset is directly related to your sales. Right? It is directly related to how you are receiving money and how you are selling your business. So I love talking about money mindset because I definitely think it is directly related to how your business is running, how you're running your sales calls, and how you're feeling about receiving more clients. So let's talk about it. Definitely, seek a professional if you need more help, but this is meant to give you a different perspective. So I love working with clients on their money mindset and how it relates to their sales. If you feel like you are stuck in your strategy with your business and you need a little bit more sales skills, you need a little bit of mindset, and definitely a little bit of strategy. Definitely just say strategy below. I always start with a free relationship kind of sales audit. I love looking at your lead strategy and how to make more relationships and build a community. I think community over content will always win. So that's always my goal, not to be posting and hoping, right? But to be building communities and building relationships. So that's my jam. So definitely stick around. You don't want to miss today's topic on money blocks. Again, it was a overwhelming vote. So thanks so much to everyone who voted. Every week I put out a poll on what topics we should discuss. So if you feel like there's a topic coming up for you and your business, or something that's holding you back where you feel like, I wish I had just a little bit more knowledge, or I really want to study this little area to have a little bit more information about to move in my business, or maybe you think you're thinking about changing your strategy, or you're thinking about kind of going down this road, but you need just a little bit more information, let's talk about it, right? Should I be on Instagram? Should I be on TikTok? Should I be on Facebook, right? Let's talk about it. So definitely feel free to vote on that poll every week, or you can always suggest some topics below. I'd love to hear what's on your mind. Awesome. So I invite you, right, for this video. I always like to say and give a little viewpoint, right? Downloading free material and trying everything on your own is great and will get you so far. But if you want to up-level your business, I definitely think it is about learning from a mentor, learning from those who have gone before you. I have not been able to make as many moves as I thought I could without a coach, right? I always think the biggest secret is that coaches use other coaches. So that is my big message, is that if you feel like it is your maybe fear holding you back, or if you feel like you are just not sure how to take the next step or whether to take the next step, I definitely love to mention that your growth does not happen in your comfort zone, right? It is going to take you taking a little leap of faith, stepping out of your comfort zone in order to get to that next level. I think always pushing ourselves on that edge of a little bit of fear, right? But also a little bit of motivation and excitement is what's going to keep you moving forward. Staying stuck, to me, is far scarier, right, than taking that leap of faith. Because when you're stuck, you don't have a plan, right? You don't have a solution. You don't know what to do next. You're just stuck. It's hard to move forward. It is hard to grow when you're feeling stuck. So definitely, if that's something that you're struggling with, I'd love to talk more with you. But I invite you, as you're watching this free video, there is no reason for you to watch a free video and not get something out of it, right? You are here to learn. So I invite you to put on your abundance crown. I'm calling it a crown because you are a goddess. I think every women business owner has a goddess within her, and you have the power to change, right? So with that abundance crown, to me, Abundance means that all things are possible, right? There's plenty of money in the world. There are plenty of clients out there. The market is not saturated. The economy is not bad. There are still people making money, right? No matter what economy, there are still people making money, and that can be you. So I really think having that mindset of all things are possible, but that you have the power to change, right? So with that, really watch this video, and I invite you to take and write down 2 action items, 2 things that you get from this video, whether it's an aha moment, whether it's something new you're gonna try, a new strategy, obviously with your mindset, right? If it's one kind of method that you're gonna use to try to unblock your money blocks or really dive deep into the scary emotional part of money, right? So we're going to talk about it, but definitely feel free to write down 2 things that you take away from today's video so that you get something out of it, right? So that you can move your business forward and actually get something from this free video. So definitely stick around. So I always like to quickly talk about first, my background. I'm Christina. If you're new here, I had a little bike shop with my husband. It was a perfect little marriage of both our interests, marriage of our marriage. But he liked bikes, I liked coffee. So what I loved about that business was how much I learned, right? It was such a traumatic, talk about money trauma, right? It was such a traumatic experience, but I'm so glad I came out of it on the other side with the passion to help other business owners. So what I see so much is that this fear of failure, right? And so for me, obviously this business, it was beautiful. It was a brick and mortar. We really had a really great time. It was open for 2 years, but unfortunately, right, at the end, we didn't have enough clients. So that is always my mission. If you build it, they don't just come, right? You have to go to them. And that's what marketing is all about. So I'm on a mission to make that easier for other women business owners so you don't have to close your doors, right? I don't want to see another woman business owner have to close her doors. But with that money trauma, and if you have ever had another business or a launch that didn't go so well, or even just a post, right, that you really thought would resonate and it didn't, we can definitely use that as our fear, or see that as our fear, or use that as a story we tell ourselves that we can't do it again, right? Or that it's going to happen again. If we try to launch, it's going to fail. If we try this business, it might fail. And that fear, again, is creeping up anytime you are stepping out of your comfort zone or reaching that level of unknown, right? Anytime it's a little bit unknown, any of those old money stories can absolutely creep up and cause fear, right? So the biggest message today, I think, is just to take away with noticing your own thoughts and recognizing that it is more than likely your fear. Your fear is keeping you small. Your fear is trying to keep you safe. We know what happens at this level, right? This is safe. We understand this level. But if you want to get to this level, you've got to step out of your comfort zone and take a little bit of a leap of faith. And it might be scary, right? And that is the whole point of fear. Fear is protecting you, but recognizing that it's just fear and that it might not be true. It doesn't mean you're going to fail. Just because you failed once, it doesn't mean you're going to fail again, right? That is the biggest thing that I have learned absolutely from past businesses. I always say they are learning, right? I don't see them as failures. I have learned so much from them, and I'm so glad they happened, and I'm so glad they failed. I'm so glad that business we had to shut down because it was not the right space for our business, right? Or for our family. It was not the right schedule. It was not the right time. It just was not the right space for us at that time. So I'm really glad it failed. Did it suck? Absolutely. Is it a fear that is always going to exist? Absolutely. But it is a fear that I overcome each and every day because it creeps up in all different ways, right? And I think that's what our money stories, they're embedded in us, right? That trauma, whether it's generational, whether it's recent, whether it's anything, right? I feel like those money trauma stories are always going to be with you. And so it's always a matter of recognizing them and realizing what you can do with them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So with that, I'd like to mention that at the bike shop, what I love is that we created this community. So many of you probably have Facebook groups in your local towns, right? Local neighborhoods, cities, wherever you are. And we created our own Facebook group way back in 2014. And that Facebook group, in fact, is still existing to this day. We created that group to create events for bike rides, for You know, my favorite was Cupcakes and Cruisers. That was my jam. But people are still in that Facebook group to this day, right? This is 12 years later. People are still in that Facebook group going on bike rides. To me, that is such a testament to Facebook groups and to community. I think people now, you know, especially with AI coming, people want to connect with humans. So if you're wanting the best strategy for your business, definitely Facebook groups. I learned that time and time again over the last 10 years that Facebook groups is the best way to build a community of loyal customers, of people who want to support you. And it is the best way to, I think, get leads every single day. So if that's something you're interested, again, just say strategy below. I would love to offer my sexy leads audit where we can talk about your strategy, or I can look at your Facebook group if you already have one, or if you're thinking of starting one, we can talk about that too. But that's the biggest lesson that I learned from that bike shop. And I wish I didn't let my fear get in the way so many times. I was stuck in a posting and hoping. After the bike shop, I obviously turned it into my passion to help other women business owners, but that was back in 2016, and I spent at least 6 years just posting and hoping because my fear kept getting in the way. My fear of, well, I don't want to start a Facebook group. That sounds like too much work. How many of you have heard that, right? How many of you said that yourself? I hear that so much. Or Facebook doesn't feel great. I don't want to spend time on Facebook. All of these things, time, I don't have time, Facebook isn't my jam, all of those things to me sound like fear. Fear is creeping up to tell you if you don't like Facebook, it could be your feed, right? You maybe haven't found the right energy of your feed. You can fix your feed. Tell Facebook more of what you actually want. Don't slow down on those posts that you don't want that don't make you feel good, right? Don't slow down on those ads that don't make you feel good. X out of stuff, right? Leave some groups if they're getting dramatic, right? Leave some, unfollow some pages, unfollow some friends, right? If they're not making you feel good. You get to decide what your energy, what you let in on Facebook. So if you are of the mindset that, oh, Facebook just isn't where my people are, I'll be honest, 1/3 of the planet is on Facebook. It might even be more than that, right? And most of those people are on Facebook every single day. So if you don't think your audience is on Facebook, right, I'm here to tell you that it is the biggest. They have the most information, and it's at least you're missing out on a huge part of your business, I think, if you are not incorporating Facebook into your business. And to me, it sounds like fear, right? If you don't have time for a Facebook group, then I would argue, do you have time to get more clients, right? Would you want to focus on the things that are actually going to bring you clients? Or would you want to continue posting and hoping on other platforms and just waiting, right? So those are my two things that I really think fear creeps up in a lot of ways. And here's what I've learned, right? I don't know if any of you have heard this, BTFAR. Beliefs lead to thoughts, thoughts lead to feelings, and feelings are what create action. You're going to act on the feelings that you feel, right? If something feels good, you might do that. If it feels bad, you might do that, right? Feelings lead to action, and your action, we all know, is what gets you results. BTFAR. So this is the reason that fear, if you have a belief that Facebook is bad, if you have a belief that I don't have time for anything new, if you have a belief that I'm not good at money, if you have a belief that there isn't enough money in the world, right? That will lead to your feelings about things and your actions and your results. So definitely think about what you are believing and what you are thinking about. Being aware of your thoughts, I think, is the first step to changing your results, right? If you want to get more clients, think about how you're thinking about those clients, right? That is the first step. Okay, so off my soapbox a little bit, I'm going to talk about the 3 biggest money blocks that I know I have struggled with in the past and that I know I have helped my clients with. So the first one I think is the biggest. So often in society, and maybe you heard this from your parents, that we are told it is bad to be rich. Tell me below, does that resonate, right? Do you feel like it is bad to be greedy? Well, I don't want to make too much money, right? I don't want to be super wealthy. That sounds like I'm focusing on materialistic things, right? So really sit with that, right? Is that something you believe? We see it in movies, we see it in society. I hear it so much. Well, I don't want to focus on money. Why? Why don't more of us want to focus on money? Because we feel bad, right? We feel guilty. Well, I don't want to be materialistic. I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be greedy. Here's the thing, right? If you are more comfortable in your life, you can do more good things and help more people in the world. If you have more money, you can give back so much more. If you are comfortable, you can help so much more people. There is no reason that you don't deserve to be wealthy and comfortable and live a rich, beautiful life and help more people. You can have a bigger impact with more money, right? Bottom line. So think about that. If you are telling yourself it's bad to be rich, or you're holding yourself back, well, I don't want to raise my prices, right? Again, this money mindset leads directly to your sales. I don't want to raise my prices because I don't want to seem greedy. I don't want to ask for that phone call because I don't want to be salesy. All of these are keeping you small, right? And all of this is a fear of not wanting to focus on money, not wanting to be too greedy, not wanting to be selfish, not wanting to make more money. Why don't you want to make more money, right? Of course, we all want to make more money. So I'm on a mission to help us all talk more and be more comfortable about talking about money and wanting to be wealthy. I think it is okay to be wealthy. I think it is okay to want things in life. And I just think there is this giant misconception, and especially in the money world, I think it is so heavily focused on lack and so heavily focused on restriction, much like dieting, right? A restrictive budget, if you will, right? A restrictive mindset around money is not going to bring in more money, right? So I'm a big believer, right, in law of attraction. I think what you focus on, you get more of. If we are so focused on feeling bad about money, or feeling bad about being rich, or feeling bad about being greedy, or calling it greedy, right, I just think is the wrong mindset. I think it is okay to make money. It is okay to be a boss. It is okay to make sales. It is okay to make more money. So that's the first thing. So number one, it is bad to be rich, right? I heard this all growing up. I don't know if any of you have any hippie dads, but I heard yuppies are pricks, right? Who else heard that? Anyone else hear that? Yes, I feel like I heard that so much, right? With that mindset, I thought, oh, it's bad. It's bad to have that fancy car. It's bad, right? Oh, if they drive that, they must be greedy. If they have that money, or are wearing that, or have that handbag, or whatever, right? Oh, they must be greedy. And money, movies, right, don't help us at all. I think. Tell me the last movie you saw where there was a wealthy woman who was well-adjusted, giving back to the world, and doing great things, right? No, every single movie where there's a wealthy woman, she's mean, she has to learn a lesson, right? She has some hardship she has to overcome. There's never just a well-adjusted, wealthy woman in any movie that I've seen. Tell me if you've seen one. I would love to see it. So definitely think about that, right? Is this true? Is it really bad to have money? You can probably think of a couple examples in your life of people that have money that are doing good things, that are good people, right? You can absolutely have money and be a good person. You don't have to, just because you have money doesn't mean you're greedy, right? So let's talk about it more. Let's get it out there. So that's number one. Number two, I think this is along the same lines, but is definitely a lack mentality. There's never enough, right? Do you ever feel like, oh my gosh, every time I just pay off these bills, pay off those credit cards, more bills come, right? Do you ever feel like that? I see this a lot, right? That I know in my own life, when I have been in that kind of lack mentality, there's never enough. It's true, there's never enough, right? If you believe there is never enough, there is never going to be enough. What if excess is okay, right? What if there is enough? What if there, right? That's what abundance is all about. What if there is enough? Of course there's enough, right? There's enough air to breathe. There's enough water to drink. We are so fortunate. There are so many things to be grateful for. There is plenty of money in the world. There are people making money no matter what the economy. There's plenty of money. There's no reason you can't make money in this economy. There's no reason you can't make money right now, right? You are worthy. You are absolutely that abundant goddess. You are able. So definitely putting that abundance crown on and believing, right? Changing your belief that it is okay to have excess. There is excess. There's plenty of money. There's plenty of market in the world. So that's number 2, right? Is to really think about that lack mentality. If there's never enough, then that's kind of the same mindset that like debt is bad, right? If I have debt, then I've got to pay that off. And granted, you should absolutely pay off your debt. But what if it's okay? I'm going to pay it a little bit later, right? What is that? Is that really bad? Why do we put so much emphasis on bad or good, right? That debt is so bad. Sure, yes, we want to live within our means and we want to live comfortably. And we want to pay off our debts. But I think healthy debt is not a bad thing. By putting so much emphasis on feeling shame for having debt, right? That is really a lack mentality. Like, oh no, I can't make any more money until I pay off this debt, until I can feel better, until I can reach this other goal, right? It's really a lack mentality that I can't do this until I do this. I can't, right? So I just really think putting more emphasis on the possibilities than on the lack thereof, right? So definitely there's more than enough in the world, I believe. Tell me if you agree, right? Tell me if that resonates. The third money block that I think is so true, the most common money block that I see, is that we are told spending is bad, right? I get it. You don't want to spend beyond your means, but this turns into I must be bad at money, right? If I'm spending, so much money on this or, whatever, I think the main mindset for money out there is restriction. And again, it goes along with diet as well, right? I think there's a new revolution happening that diets don't need to be restrictive, money doesn't need to be restrictive. That mentality is keeping us all stuck. That mentality that it's bad to spend or it's bad to, have debt or it's bad to have more money, all of that is keeping us small. If it's bad, right, we don't want it. Or if it's bad, we can't use it. Or, right, all of those things are just keeping us small. If it's restrictive, then, right, especially with eating, if it's restrictive, then I feel bad. I feel bad about things, right? And that's the whole point, is if you're feeling guilty or shame about anything, you're not going to attract more of that thing. And the whole point is if you want more money, right, you shouldn't feel bad about spending money. That's part of the giving money and receiving money, giving money and receiving money. Now again, right, I'm not a financial advisor. I do not suggest spending all of your money. Of course, you need to pay your bills, but this is the point too, that if we are of that mindset, spending is bad, that often leads to I'm not good at money. And I really want you to ask yourself, if you feel like you're bad at money, ask yourself if that's really true, because do you have a roof over your head? Are you paying your mortgage? Are you paying your utility bills? Are you paying your car payment? More than likely, right, you are putting food on the table and you are providing for your family, right? It might not be at the comfort level that you want, but you are prioritizing money, and that is valid, that is to be honored, that is something to be grateful for, right? You are not bad at money if you are prioritizing the important things, right? You're paying your bills, right? It may not be as comfortable, maybe they're not always on time, but right, you are prioritizing, and that is okay. Give yourself grace that you are not bad at money. You are absolutely capable of prioritizing and managing money, and you can manage more. Because if you say you're bad at money, I don't think you are going to receive more money, right? Tell me if that resonates. All right, so really those are the 3 main money blocks. So just to reiterate, right? The first one, is it really bad to be rich, right? That's one I heard growing up all the time. And is that really true? You know plenty of good people with good money. Money in the hands of good people can do more good in the world. That's what I really believe. Number 2 is that there's never enough. This is true lack mentality. If there's never enough, there's never going to be enough, right? What if there's excess? What if there is? What if there's always more coming in? Because there is always more coming in, right? There's always money coming in. There is plenty of money in the world. There's plenty of market. The market is not saturated. There are plenty of people making money no matter what the economy. What if it is? What if it is? Number 3, spending is bad, or I'm bad at money. Is this really true, right? You are prioritizing your bills in a way that is managing money and keeping things afloat. You are doing it. You are doing it today. There are things in your life that you are managing, and give yourself grace for that. Give yourself credit for that, right? You are prioritizing. You are good at money in different ways. Everybody's good at money in different ways. So focus on those things to be grateful for, and you will receive more money, right? That is the goal. All right, so now talking about the 4 ways that I think are the easiest ways to overcome these, right? Again, asking yourself, being aware, I think is the first step, of course, right? Being aware of these thoughts, and if these are similar thought patterns that you see coming up over and over again, much related to some money trauma, right? If you've had a money trauma, like I said, our failed business, quote unquote failed, I never see it as a failure. It was certainly a learning experience, but I know that is deep within my psyche, right? Of, oh my gosh, if I do this, oh my gosh, it's going to fail again. Oh my gosh, it's going to happen again. So I have to constantly work on that and really tap into my thoughts and figure out what are my beliefs about that, right? I really believe that I learned so many valuable lessons, and I'm glad that happened, right? And I'm glad I'm where I'm at, and I know things can change. I know things are possible. I know that I have the power to change. So that's really the abundance mindset. All right, so the 4 things that I think really help overcome these thought patterns, right? The first one is really books, right? If any of you have great money mindset books, I would love to hear. A couple that we've read in our book club that I really love is Rich as F. That's one of my favorites. And Lenka Lutanska, if any of you follow her, she's one of my favorites. We read her book last year called Energetic Selling. And that is really all related to really thinking about selling as serving, right? And I recently heard this, I think she said this, that asking, so whether that's asking for the sale, asking for help, is really a form of giving, because you're really, when you ask someone to do something, you're giving them the opportunity to give to you, right? Isn't that an interesting way of thinking about it? Asking is a form of giving. So I really have to sit with that, right? But what I love about books is that it really gives you a different perspective. It really can help in there, different authors will resonate, of course, with you, different books. There's a lot of bad money, right? Bad or good. There's a lot of bad money books out there, in my opinion. I just started to read 3 different money books that were in my Audible library that I realized, oh my gosh, I don't want this energy around me at all, right? It was all lack mentality, all the mistakes you've made. It was all focused on, to me, what I don't want to focus on. I don't want to focus on the mistakes people made and old ways of thinking. So I really think, surrounding yourself with the energy that you really want to work on, I think is really important. And books, to me, finding the right books that resonate with me, hearing stories of people who have overcome their money mindset, who have, figured out different ways and their perspective, I think is really valuable. So definitely books is number 1. The number 2 way that I think has helped me the most, I would love to hear if this resonates with any of you, and if any of you are doing this in your life, is meditation. Does anyone meditate? I would love to hear. I'm a big meditator. I have really incorporated this into my daily life because it has not only helped with my mood, right, and my ways of thinking, but absolutely it helps you problem solve. I really think getting quiet with yourself, whether that's guided, whether it's on your own, if you are someone who believes you can't meditate, right? I get it. I hear that a lot too. And whatever that looks like to you, right? It doesn't have to look like anyone else's meditation, right? Whatever that looks like for you, if it's 5 minutes in the shower, right? Of maybe just closing your eyes and feeling the water on your body, that's a form of meditation, right? Just closing your eyes, I think, to quiet your mind, even if you're still thinking about things, right? I think it's really hard for any of us to quote unquote quiet our mind or stop our thoughts. I don't think that's the point, right? I think the point is to get to a place where you can really think and get in tune with your body, to really think about what your body's doing, what your body's feeling, and that's where the problems get solved, right? That's where the ideas, the inspiration happens, when you can quiet the world around you, because we're bombarded with information every, 24/7. If you can quiet your perception, your sensories, all your senses a little bit, that's when you can problem solve. So I really think meditation is the biggest helper with money mindset, with really business, with any type of mindset work. I think meditation is really helpful. And whatever that looks like to you, right? Figure out if it's guided, if it's just a walking meditations, I think are valuable, whatever works for you, right? I think meditation looks different for everybody. Number 3, this is, right, a pretty obvious one. I really think affirmations are really helpful with money mindset, because it's really about feeling into those affirmations. If you say an affirmation that you don't feel like is true, that's going to be harder to really believe, right? But if you can find an affirmation that, okay, I am on my way to making millions, right? If you don't feel like a millionaire now, I am on my way to making millions. I am on my way to, right? Or I'm so excited when I can get X number of clients, or I can make X number of income, each month. All of those things, I think, really help you. It's the repetition. That's what affirmations are really helpful for, is the repetition. If you can change your thoughts, and if you have that verbiage in your mind of what you can replace some of those old thoughts with, right? That's really the point of affirmations, is the repetition, surrounding yourself every single day with new things to say to yourself, I think is what's helpful, right? Because if you catch yourself, oh, that's an old thought pattern. What do I replace it with? Oh, yes, I am. I am good at money. I am a millionaire, right? I am a CEO. I am these things, right? Whatever those affirmations are for you, right? And I think they're really helpful because they're repetitive, right? There's something you can say to yourself every single day that it's going to be easy. Once you say it to yourself more, you're going to believe it more. You're going to be able to replace your old thought patterns with those new words. And that's what's really helpful, I think. So definitely affirmations is the third one. And the last one, right, is nothing new, I'm sure, to all of you, is journaling. I really think getting your money story, getting your trauma, getting your thoughts out on paper is a way of expressing, right? I really think journaling, and you don't have to be a perfect journaler, right? And even if you're not a journaler, right, maybe just saying it to a friend or getting it out in some way, I think is the best way to heal and recognize, right? What do they say? Name it, heal it, name it, claim it. I forget. Tell me if you're in the psychology world, right? You probably know what I'm trying to say. But if you can say and talk about and put words to what your money story is, what you're feeling about it, any of those feelings, when you can put words to it, that is the first step to being aware of something, right? And that is the first step to really honing in on where your mindset is, right? And how to heal it and what you have to change. Because if you're not recognizing what you have to change, then you're not going to be able to change it, right? But if you can recognize what you need to change, that's when you can turn it into a different belief system, right? A different perspective, a different way of thinking about things. And that's how you're going to change those beliefs that lead to your thoughts, that lead to your feelings, lead to action. And that is how you change your results, right? So BTFAR. Definitely, I think those are, the easiest ways to really work on your money mindset. Again, if this is something that you have been working on and maybe you've tried all 4 things to really help move your business forward, but you feel like there's still just some pieces that you're not quite sure how it relates directly to your sales strategy and directly to your business, I would love to talk more with you about this. I always offer that free call. It's just a strategy call where we can talk about your mindset, we can talk about your current lead strategy, and we can talk about your current sales strategy. So if you are already getting enough leads in every day, but you're having trouble converting those to sales, let's talk, because definitely there's probably some money mindset creeping in that is holding you back from converting those clients. So I would love to talk with you. You can just say strategy below, or you can always reach out to me if you'd love to schedule that call. But I would love to talk more mindset. I love talking money mindset with any of you and how it specifically applies to your business. I also have a new VIP program if any of you are interested. It's just $27. It is a 5-day video session, but we talk on Messenger about each video and how it applies to your business. So it's specifically on how to grow your Facebook group. So if you have a Facebook group, again, I'm a big fan of using a Facebook group as a sales funnel. I think it's the easiest way to get qualified leads every single day. So if that's something you are interested in growing, just say VIP below. Again, this is just a $27 program, because I always think, right, if you are invested in it, you're actually going to implement it, right? So if you're interested in that, you get 5 videos that I will send to you directly, and we will talk about each video and how it applies to your specific business. Because I really think that is the piece that is always a challenge, right? Especially with any kind of free content or any kind of video, it's the implementation part. So that's where you get me for 5 days in Messenger, where we are going to actually work on your business. We can talk about specifics within your group and specific strategies that you're doing to really make sure you're getting qualified leads every single day. So if you're interested in that VIP challenge, you just say VIP below. It's just one-on-one with me for 5 days. and it's $27, like I said. It's a really great entry level that you get to experience me as a coach. You really get to work on your group, and hopefully I'll get you some quick wins so that you can move your business forward. Awesome. I would love to hear if any of this resonates. Which money mindset is the biggest one for you? I would love to hear. Or which of the 4 ways to overcome your money blocks are you going to try? Whether that is book, I would love to hear any book recommendations that you have. Meditation, I'd love to hear if you've found some really amazing guided meditations. I love guided meditations, whether it's on YouTube or Insight Timer. Those are my favorites. I'd love to hear, feel free to share some links if you have them. Some affirmations. If you have a great resource for affirmations, I would love to hear that below as well. And then number 4, journaling. If you have some journaling prompts, right, that you would love to share with the group, I would love to see those. Money mindset journaling prompts. Yes, let's talk about it. So if you have any of those, feel free to share below. I would love to hear. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to me anytime if you want to talk mindset or strategy. I am here. All right. Thanks so much.